Heather in our office does the all-important work of CAUV tasks with our residents and farmers and different property owners here in the county. So Heather, thanks for taking some time to talk to us about the program.
You're welcome.
Now, what is CAUV for those folks that may not know?
So CAUV stands for Current Agriculture Use Valuation. So what it means is a farmer that's actually commercially farming gets a tax break at a lower value opposed to the highest and best use. Typically you have to be farming the property, whether it's nursery stock, vegetables, corn, wheat, livestock, forestry also, as long as you're...
Any type of commercial use where you're not necessarily using yourself, but you're selling it.
Yes, as long as it's being sold, it can qualify for CAUV.
So what is that tax break for folks?
So typically it saves, quite a bit of money. We're taxing it at that lower value, which is based off of the soils on your property. Sometimes you can see if it's just wooded, you can see it cut in half your tax bill. It's just a really nice incentive for the farmers, to be able to get.
Yeah. So what are some of the qualifications that someone would have to have in order to qualify for CAUV?
So typically you have to have 3 years of a commercial use before you can apply for the program. Once you have that, if you have less than 10 acres, then you have to provide proof of income, which is a gross of $2,500. And you only get those acres on CAUV. If you have more than 10 acres, you don't have to provide proof of income because we're assuming you're grossing that. And your woods also gets a tax break on the program as well. Sometimes we'll ask for who the farmer is, just in case we have any questions, what's going on. Sometimes the landowners don't know what's going on. They may have it rented out, and that qualifies as well. Or if you do forestry, we would just need to see a copy of a forest management plan that they follow. As long as they're managing it in a commercial sense, then that can qualify as well.
So if I've got my home and I've got 9 acres of property that I own, and on 5 of those I'm doing let's say soybeans.
Okay.
And that's those soybeans, I farm them, I sell them, and I make over $2,500 a year from those soybeans, and I can qualify for those 5 acres.
Yes.
Through CAUV.
Right, and depending how many acres of woods you have, if you have a decent amount of woods, and not the home site would not qualify, but if you also got a forest management plan for those woods, not only could your 5 acres of soybeans qualify, but the woods could as well.
So we can do commercial agriculture in terms of actual planting or animal husbandry, for example, so like cows or pigs, different things like that. But then also you said forestry.
Yes.
So if I'm a property owner that just has my house and maybe let's say 30 acres of woods, forest, how can I qualify for CAUV?
Yeah, so if you don't know a forester already, we do have a list in our office of foresters that are familiar with writing plans for us. It's a little different from the ODNR's forestry program. We just need a copy of that management plan that you're following and just your application. We typically come out, we're trying to space it out between maybe every 5 years. We go out and inspect the property, just making sure it's being managed. Grapevine control, crop tree release are some things that we're looking for in that plan.
Because you have to show some type of commercial activity, because the idea would be then that there'd be harvesting of the trees.
Right. Might not be in your future, but in somebody's future, just kind of managing that woods for commercial use.
So if I just bought some property and it's, let's say 15 acres and I'm interested in starting a farm, what would you recommend I do in order to start to begin the process for CAUV?
Yeah, now would it be 15 acres in cropland?
It's currently not being produced.
Okay, so what you would need to do is you would need to get that farmland under production. So once you get your 3 years of having somebody farm it, then you can, it asks for what the 3 years is on the application. So you just get your 3 years in. If it's less than 5 or 10 acres, I'm sorry, then you would just have to keep track of your proof of income, whether it's 1040-Fs or receipts or anything like that. Get your 3 years in, and then typically the only time that you can apply for CAUV is the first Monday in March or the first Monday in January up until the first Monday in March is when you can apply for CAUV.
So they can start talking to you now,
yes,
but there's certain steps that have to be followed, and then the actual application process is just in the first quarter of the year.
Right, and the application process is pretty easy. It just asks for the owner's information, the parcel number and acreage, and then it asks what the breakdown is. How many acres are in crops, woods, forestry or anything like that. And then I'm happy to help them walk through the process in filling it out. It asks for income if you're less than 10 and who your farmer is.
And then of course this is a great tax benefit for farmers who desperately need some assistance just because of different issues with farming over the past couple of years and how difficult that is.
Yeah.
But of course with a benefit comes some penalties if the property owner no longer is farming. So what are the downsides or the penalties to CAUV?
Yeah, so we go out every summer and we inspect all the properties that are on the program. If we feel that we need more information, we're not sure if you're commercially farming or you're just not, we will send a certified letter that the owner has to sign for stating this is why we have some questions. If you don't respond, typically we give a month. If you don't respond by that time, then we're going to remove you from the program. What happens is it would be a 3-year recoupment, so you would have to pay back the last 3 years that you saved on that property. They do have the option come January 1st to file board of revision to be able to get their property back onto CAUV.
And the idea with that being, of course, folks are getting a tax break, and if they're no longer utilizing the program as it's supposed to be, then that tax break gets taken off.
Yes.
And they have to pay back then some of the benefit because they're not utilizing the program.
Yes.
And that's all state driven, so our CAUV program is very kind of step by step based on what the state policies are.
Yes, yes.
So we don't have too much flexibility with some of those things, but we are able to be very flexible, and especially talking with the farmers, making sure that there's that communication there.
Yeah, I try to work with them as much as I can to, as much leeway as I can to try to keep them qualified, try to find them a farmer if need be, or we try to work with the landowners to qualify.
So how can people get a hold of you?
So they can reach me on my direct line, which is 440-576-3788, or my email, which is hrhall@ashtabulacounty.us. Or just come into the office.
Yeah, we love to see people, even right now. Thank you so much, Heather. So that's our CAUV program. Highly encourage you to take a look, read up on it, and reach